kids, it's Jurassic James and it's Jurassic Explains looking at Borealopelta. And this has been a long time coming. This animal is really important. It was discovered in 2012 by accident. They were digging in a pit in Alberta, Canada, and they found this thing that looked really different. It turns out it was this animal. It's the most complete, or most, not complete, it's the most well-preserved dinosaur ever found, particularly for the Ankylosaur group. And I will say this, okay, first of all, who is this animal? Two things. One, in Dinosauria, the one group's called Thyreophore. Thyreophore means shield bearers. That's the Ankylosaurs and the Stegosaurs. Ankylosaurs having armor, like flat armor, and Stegosaurs having the plates. Within Ankylosaurs, there's two more branches. The Ankylosaurids, there we go. Here's Ankylosaurus, here's your Borealocephalus, the well-armored head. Let's see, the Ankylosaurus is a Safari, 2018. Your Borealocephalus is from Target. It's a Batta, B-A-T-T-A-N. And so these guys are some of the most accurate ones in their stories. I think I did Ankylosaurus already. I haven't done a video for Borealocephalus. And so, in general speaking, these guys most have clubs in their tails. They also have these shorter, more boxier skulls. The Nodosaurs, which people don't know about apparently, Nodosaurs are another type of Ankylosaur, but instead of having boxy flat heads and clubs, these guys have more elongated noses and they have no club. So this is Edmontonia. This is also late Cretaceous period. It is from Collect A. Other examples are, I think I already went over this one, Gastonia, Collect A as well. So these guys usually have more armor on their shoulders, more narrow heads, and no club. And of course, I did a video on Borealopelta before, and here's this one Borealopelta. Here are the two Jurassic World figures. Right after I did the video, and right after it was uploaded, my wife bought me the PNSO Borealopelta, and I was like, thank you for great timing. So anyway, so we know that Borealopelta would have fallen into this group, so it's a Nodosaur. But what's really cool is it's an early Cretaceous Nodosaur, like these guys. This is a late Cretaceous one. And so the idea is that when they first found it, with Ankylosaurus, the duckbills the crested hadrosaurs have different shaped crests to tell them apart. The ceratopsians have different horn structure, frill structures. For these guys, their armor alignment is very unique, and so we often don't know exactly how it looks sometimes because, for example, a lot of toys that are labeled Ankylosaurs are actually Borealocephalus. They have a certain distinctive pattern of their armor, and Ankylosaurus has a different pattern, and many toy makers get it mixed up or something. And so that's really important to understand because, let's see, let's put this over here. Because just like with the hadrosaurs, they're different crests, we can tell them apart, same thing here. So what's really cool is that you may have seen it a few years ago on Nat Geo and all the specials where they essentially have, the tail was missing, but they have like this whole part of the animal. It's as if it was just frozen in carbonite. And it was just like, there it is. And it's light out, and the species named after a guy who spent prep work. I mention this to kids all the time. Every hour in the field is like 40 or 50 or 100 or 1,000 hours in the lab. I mean, you dig a fossil up you cover it in aluminum foil, cover it in plaster, get it back to the lab, and you work on it forever and write papers later on. And so this guy is the most probably accurate of these animals we can tell because it had everything was preserved perfectly. Now, two things to point out. First, I'm getting excited. Two things to point out. First of all, the armor and the length of the armor. So a dog or a cat, you cut their nail sometimes, right? There's a part, if you cut it, it bleeds. That's a claw. That's a blood vessel in it. There's a sheath or covering over that. So that part is made of keratin or protein like our fingernails or our hair. That part is often lost in fossils. So when you see a skeleton of a Triceratops horn or a Stegosaurus tail spike, know in life it would have been bigger than that. That's just the core. There's a covering over that. With the Borealopelta, those parts were preserved. So you can actually see and compare different nodules here and see the length of them. And sometimes the keratin add-on, the sheath part, was like 20% bigger. So that's really cool. We know that for sure. And so I will say with the toy, this one is way too long. Let's go ahead and open it, yes. Let's do the thing. With the official scissors of Jurassic James. That being said, let's see. Oh, cool. Just a double. You can just do one. Like, there you go. To your Gordian knot. It couldn't wait to be free. So, the box. So the toy. Oh, this is really cool actually. And same thing. The kid part. Here is the DNA code. The tail is the only thing we're guessing on. So they're different tails because we don't know. Don't tell. So first and foremost, the importance of this discovery, other than it being really well preserved. Also the skin. Some pigments, you'll see it always depicted as a brown or a reddish because we actually have some pigments preserved in the skin material. And so when I say that, we can tell there's counter shading. So counter shading is usually when you're darker on top and lighter on the bottom. For a great white shark, it's great because great white sharks have white bellies and have black or grayish tops. So if you're looking down, if you're in the water looking down on one, you see darkness below you and you see the shark swimming in it. You can't see the shark. If you're swimming in deep water, you're looking up, you see all the light from the sun, and it's a white belly, you can't see it again, so it's hiding very well. And so we see that too in this animal as well. But what's really, really cool about it was found, and many ankylosaurs are found, on their backs. Now what's going on there is that, first and foremost, the armor is heavy. These are called osteoderms. Osteoderms mean bone in the skin, literally. And so we don't really think the ankylosaurs are finding or dying. They're not dying where they lived. They're probably being washed out the river or to sea because here's the thing, and here's the importance of taphonomy, the study between like death and fossilization. What happens to the animal when it dies until its body gets preserved is that when you find ankylosaurs in general, they will often be found in marine sediment, and so was this guy. It was hundreds of miles, if not thousands, or hundreds of miles away from a coastline. And that part, now again, right. So make sure I'm putting to the right spot. So Alberta, Canada is like right here, and so that there was an ocean or a sea that came in here called the Great Western Interior Seaway. It split the continent in two parts, and this guy was found in the middle of it. So it shows you that this animal. So if you didn't understand taphonomy, because that's the thing, if you're digging and you're looking at marine sediment, how do you know it's marine? If you're seeing oysters and seashells and ammonites, and you're looking at ammonites and you're looking at ichthyosaurs and plesiosaurs and sharks, you're saying, oh, these guys are found in the middle of these guys. It must be a weird dinosaur that lives in the ocean. But then you say, no, put on your science hat and go, wait, why is it in the ocean? It could have got washed out to sea. Your clues of this are, one, it's found upside down like this. So the ankylosaur group, these guys will often be found this way because when animals decay, if you have roadkill and it like blows up and everything, it will be gaseous like a dead whale. And so it's floating like this. And we have actually found some ankylosaurs with shark bite marks on it. To a non-expert, or at least person who's studied paleontology or is scientifically literate, you think, oh, it's living in the ocean. But remember, sharks do a lot of scavenging. And if it's floating in the water, sharks will feed on that, actually. And so there's some actually been found, some other ankylosaurs have been found with actual barnacles on their bones. It didn't mean it was in the ocean for a lifestyle thing. The animal was washed out to sea. There were all the rivers and streams are heading to the ocean. All of the dirt and clay around you, the sediment that's deposited around you, is heading to the ocean, right? It's all being moved down to the ocean. So this guy shows that. And so, again, that's why it's important to understand taphonomy. Now, as far as diet goes, its gut content was preserved, and there's a lot of ferns and charcoal. So we know that there are fires. We see, oxygen today it's about 20.95% oxygen in the atmosphere right now. So when you breathe, about 1 in 5 of that is oxygen. Most of it's nitrogen that you can't actually breathe or absorb. I used to do it through food. But anyway, so we know oxygen was higher in this time, in the Cretaceous period, and there would have been more fires. And so there was charcoal found in this diet. A lot of ferns, too. Speaking of that, the face. So the ankylosaurs I mentioned earlier have big, wide mouths and noses, and the nodosaurs have small ones. My analogy for you, my friends, is how in Africa, the wildebeest have a more wide nose, and the gazelles have a more narrow nose. That's what we call niche partitioning. The example I give you is, in Africa, again, we have lions, leopards, cheetahs, hyenas. They're all competing for meat. Cheetahs, poor things, they'll kill their food and have to eat it really fast because the lions are coming. Not the lions might steal it, the lions will steal it. So what herbivores have done, to not eat the same plants for the most part, is they have different shaped mouths. We see that in the duck bills and hence the bills, and some of the horned dinosaurs. But again, the ankylosaur and nodosaur, they can live side by side because ankylosaurs have been found with Edmontonia and Lake Cretaceous. They can live side by side because they're eating different foods for the most part. Both plants, but different kind of plants, right? So that's why it's so special. So Borealopelta shows that. Again, this particular one should be smaller. We see that from the actual preserved parts. And there is no tail, so until we find one, we can't say for sure. But again, this is a really, really cool find. I mean, I encourage you to go to a museum in Canada to see this animal. And the toy, of course, this is the first toy, and I remember the moment I saw it on eBay, like I just said, buy, rush it here. So I've had this for a while, but Jurassic World came out 1/1, so I said, now we have to go over it because it's a really cool story. So again, in paleontology, there's more to it than meets the eye. Being found in marine ocean sediments means this animal does not mean the animal lived in the ocean. It just means it was deposited there. It would have died on land. It may have fallen to a river, got washed down river, and then pushed out. What made this one special too was that there was no scavenging on it. So this animal, about 110 million years ago, is floating in the ocean. Nothing is getting it, and then it sinks to the bottom to be lost forever. It gets buried by sediment and clay and preserved to be found by accident by these construction crew, and that's what's such a big deal. So, in the name, Borealopelta means armor or shield, and Bore means north. So the Aurora Borealis, northern lights. And so the idea is that it has this northern shield. So it's an Ankylosaur or Nodosaur from the north. I will do this now. I will, in short, I will now open this because why not? I'm not going to do. There's no new information on Sauropelta to verify or support doing another video on it. So I'm just going to go ahead and open this PNSO Sauropelta. So you're getting a double unboxing. See, this is why we cease the official scissors, Jurassic James. So you always put them in because it's a sharp blade. There you go. And so, in short, just gotta go over real quickly. Bonus video. And let's see this little guy here. And these guys are around the same time. They wouldn't have piled up in the same area though. And like all PNSL figures, there is a little booklet. It's information. It's telling you in every language because they sell all over the world. And of course, the figure is in here. I like the hermetically sealed carbonite. Like, there we go. Oh, I like that. Okay. And because I keep these boxes because they are really cool for the historical records. Oh, there we go. For the historical records, I keep the boxes of the PNSO figures. Well, that is not doing too well. Okay, so all right. So just to give you by comparison, let's move you over. Here's the most accurate Sauropelta figure. This is a Safari 2013. And so here's the PNSO, and like I said, oh wow, this is beautiful. This is a beautiful model in every way. And so again, you can compare the two animals, and you get an idea that this one's further north, this is further south. But again, you're seeing a similarity. These are different species. So these are different species. Sauropelta, the lizard shield, Borealopelta, the northern shield. But again, there's these narrow snouts, armor on the shoulders, and on the neck and shoulders. And so it's been argued that these animals were the ones that have co-evolved. Not that there was direct connection, but with the Dromaeosauraptors, is that a raptor has trouble. You get next to the thing's neck, and how do you kill your prey? You bite it on the neck or the head. This is covered in armor, so it's kind of unwelcoming. But anyway, and I like one more thing too, that this guy is so wide because many of the ankylosaurs, they have these round bodies because when looking at digestion, sauropods are huge animals, big guts, multiple stomachs, all like that, right? The hadrosaurs, Doug was very narrow, but their stomach extends through between their legs, or not their stomach, the intestine, like that, right? So these guys are just like these, balls almost, and they're really, wow, these are really great models. This is really cool. And so, and they found part of the foot too, some of the foot and leg bones, but the tail's totally missing. So either one's, I'm pretty sure with this one being the Collect A 2018, they're gonna probably play it safe and just give it a general look of a tail. And I say general, there's no general look for Nodosaur tail, but they're trying to be like, let's not put anything special on it. But it being Jurassic World, they're like, kids want a club. We can't give it a club because it's a Nodosaur. So we're gonna give it something close to a club. So I'm thinking that's what's going on there. But again, this is one. I mean, if you're a collector, obviously here's this one. If you're a kid, if you're an adult, I get this one too because this is really cool. I'm really happy with this. I want to buy two more. I don't know why. It doesn't solve anything, but this is really nice. I like this a lot. Anyway, Last thing to point out, the predators. So normally I say, here are all the animals it live with and interacted with. Well, it turns out it's found in the ocean. So it did not normally live in it with plesiosaurs. So the idea here is they say what animals are found in the environment in the region, and we know that like hundreds of miles away on land, there are remains of Africanthosaurus in this early Cretaceous sediment. So we say, hey, this is probably a predator. Now, we do know that Deinonychus and Utahraptor are found further south. There may have been something like them in the north that I'm not aware of, or there's definitely no toy of. But again, to put it with those guys, or, guess, it's not found in this exact same site as Estonia or Borealopelta, but they're all like roughly around the same time frame and same continent, North America, right? Western North America, the ocean is there, right? So these guys are would not have been probably together, but they would have had the same job in different parts of that region. So that's something to point out there as well. And with that being said, I'll see you guys later. I could keep talking for an hour. You should get this figure. And this one too, if you're a normal collector. Only two on the market that I'm aware of. I'm pretty sure PNSO will make one soon, but who knows. I'll see you guys later. Thank you for tuning in.